We are Grassroots Garage, and this is a Datsun Heaven series. On this episode of Grassroots Garage, we step back for a Sema episode and we head to the Toyo Tyre stand where we check out Daniel Wu's beautiful little Tanto 510 built by Troy Ermish and the team at Datsun 510 Parts Outlet in California. We've heard nothing but exceptional builds come out of this little shop and we weren't disappointed. Troy's passion for Datsuns doesn't stop with building them. He's actually an accomplished race car driver as well. Here's his little 510 ripping up Laguna Seca with that Rebello built engine screaming. Let's hand over to Pete and the man himself, Troy.
Grassroots Garage, welcome to the show. We found Troy. Now, if you've been online, Insta, Facebook, wherever you've been, you've probably seen this 510, but we wanted to find out more about it. We found Troy, the builder. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
Tell us about your car.
So this car is built by our shop here in I should say, Northern California for actor Daniel Wu, and those guys came up with the styling cues, and they just laid down the blueprint for what they wanted it to look like, and then so we put it together exactly the way they wanted on the styling cues, and then we did all the performance stuff here to make it fast, stop well, turn well, comfortable to ride in, and turned out really nice, I think. For my shop, I'm only interested in keeping them L series. I'm not really into doing the KAs or the SRs, so I went with a 2.2 short block, and we took that to Rebello. Rebello did the complete motor package where we offset ground the crank, and then we bored it 2 millimeters over, so it's 2,360 cc's, and then put it on the engine dyno, and I made 235 horse on pump gas.
What?
Yeah, and it's a little over 10-to-1 compression. Bolted on a brand new set of Makunis, which we're lucky enough to find a set of NOS Makunis, and we put some 41 millimeter chokes in the Makunis, and then we did a complete exhaust system, Nissan competition header, lightweight aluminum flywheel, racing clutch, and then from there we did all my suspension package, which includes this new Stage 2 adjustable dampener, and it has a caster camber plate, which is a little different than what you see on most cars. And then Daniel, they tracked down some Watanabe wheels.
Did that really?
Yeah, so then had those all refinished and powder coated, and then went to a 15x8 in the front and a 15x9 in the rear, and then wrapped them in the Toyo R888 tires. And then for the rest, I just did all my standard Willwood disc brake package. It's a four-wheel complete package. It's all bolt-on. And then sway bars. We took all the bushings out and put monoballs and rod ends for the complete steering kit. And then again, on the styling cues with Daniel and BDM, they supplied all the interior and wanted to come up with the bronzing of all the accessories.
It's just something different, isn't it? I love the deep color in those wheels, really sort of.
And the powder coater had blended some different powders together, and then they prepared the aluminum by brushing it, and then they poured 2 different powders together. It's kind of a homemade recipe to get this look.
Don't scratch them then.
Exactly. Yeah, we're already nervous about that. Just mounting the tires made us nervous enough.
I always love when you've got sort of street slicks on a car as well, just all business, you know, it's they're real angry. Now, why do you use Willwood?
Well, the reason I use Willwood is, for one, they've been around a long time. They stand behind their product. And I've used their product for so long. I have a ton of different brake compounds that we can put in their pretty standardized caliper. So for me, it just makes sense. I made all the brackets and mounts, and I use their shelf rotor, so we don't have to have any special rotors made. It's not an OE rotor, so it's a higher quality rotor than what you'll find on, a regular 280ZX. So yeah, so it just works out well. And some people, they like a parking brake, so for this particular build, I installed a park lock, which is a hydraulic parking brake. So even with 4-wheel disc brakes, you can still have a parking brake.
Beautiful. That's great. Tell me about the bodywork. How did it look when you first got it?
So amazingly enough, they found this car out of Utah. Original,
nice.
Yeah. Original paint, never been in a wreck. It had very minor rust in the rockers. We did have to repair the rockers. Had a little rust along the top of one of the fenders. But if you're going to invest this much money, you don't want to take something that's been in a big wreck and try to repair it. So it was really important that it had a really perfect front clip and a really good rear clip.
Absolutely. And
no rust in the floor pans. So when we took it all apart, we media blasted the car down to bare metal, and then I seam welded the entire front clip just to add a little extra strength.
Nice.
And then we went out, had the car powder coated and primer, and then worked all the bodywork from there.
There you go. Yeah, awesome. And these guards are an off-the-shelf thing, or are they?
Yeah, these are made. Daniel supplied those, and I think they're called retrospect flares.
Yep.
And then we cut the fenders to fit. So we actually use the original steel fender that was on the car, and then we just added the JDM style flare.
Love that color. So let's go through this interior. Tell us about this here.
So what we did is had some. The styling cue is sort of a little bit like a Porsche RSR. So that's where they came up with these red door pulls to make it sort of a lightweight race feel, no extra bits in there to keep the weight down.
Beautiful.
And then the same with the houndstooth pattern is something you'd see kind of in a Porsche RSR. So again, they came up with that design of the seat. And then when we had the car, right after we finished painting it, we had a brand new headliner put in it, all new carpets put in it. And then I'm not big on sound deadener because I kind of like that feel of the raw power and the sound and all that road noise and everything on a true
twin carbs.
You want to enjoy all that. And in the end, I think that stuff only promotes more floor rust and if you have any sort of leak anyway. So we just did a regular carpet kit with some standard padding underneath it. And then Daniel has a couple of kids, and he's like, what if I want to take my kids for a ride? I don't want a big, crazy roll cage. You don't need to put anything in the back, but let's just add a little rigidity. So we just built a simple little four-point cage for him.
Might be an American thing, but every 510 we seem to come across has got the roll cage in it. Yeah.
It might be American thing. No, I think it has to do with Auto Power. So Auto Power is in Southern California, and because of the racing heritage that a 510 has, everybody wants a race car look, but not everybody can afford to go get a professional race car cage put in. So Auto Power out of Southern California did bolt-in variations, several bolt-in variations for cages, and they were really popular through the 80s and all the way through the 90s. And I think they just give it more of a race car style look.
Beautiful. Now, where do you reckon the trends come from? Do you think they come out of Sema, or is Sema showing what's been trending for a couple of months leading into
I think it's more original outside of Sema. We're bringing it here to show it to other people. Is
so
the way I feel.
You pick it up off the street, what guys are doing, or how do you?
I try to be innovative on my own. I try to figure this stuff out. I've been racing them a long time, so a lot of the stuff I do you don't see. All the stuff on the underside of the car and fixing suspension components and fixing the roll centers and moving suspension parts around and eliminating some bind and fixing control arm angles, trailing arm angles, all the things that make the cars a lot funner to drive and much faster.
Yeah, definitely. So, mate, that's it for this beautiful 510. Troy, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. A big thanks again to Troy and Ashley for taking time out of their busy schedule at Sema. And make sure you check out their Facebook page, Datsun 510 Parts Outlet. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.